game for Roy Halladay.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phanatics podcast. As always, I am your host, Dylan Davis. With me today, my co-host, Snap, and George. Again, Mr. Cool isn't able to be here. But if you're interested, follow us on Twitter at Phaithful Fans 2. You can follow myself at DylanJD98. Follow Snap at Not Szymanski. And follow George at _George Ryder. Boys, how are we? How's everyone's Super Bowl weekend? Thoughts?
I'm relaxing. It was a boring Super Bowl, but it was a relaxing weekend for me. I didn't go out for anything. The snow killed my vibe.
I hate the snow.
I miss football already. I already miss football.
You know what? I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
The rest.
The rumor mill is killing me.
Yeah. Dives says happy hump day, fellas. Dives, what's going on?
Happy Wednesday, Dives.
Yeah, remember
Happy
that?
Wednesday. Wish it was Friday.
Yeah.
Or Saturday.
Guys can follow the Painted Lines on Twitter at the Painted Lines. That's what the Phaithful Fanatics is brought to you by. Check them out on YouTube. Subscribe to the Painted Lines YouTube channel. Hit the like button on this video and turn on notifications. So on today's show, Snap, George, and I will be talking about Super Bowl weekend, overall thoughts on the game, everything like that, what went into it. Maybe some halftime show because I saw mixed reviews on Twitter. We're going to be talking about the Sixers 119-111 win over the Kings last night and kind of evaluate them 25 games in because that's the point we were waiting to get at. They're a little over a third of the way through the season. They sit at 18-7, first place in the Eastern Conference. So we'll evaluate them through 25 games. And we will be talking the team that you can see right here with all the rumors surrounding them. And I'll just get the press some more. So, George, Sixers take down the Kings 119-111 last night to extend their road win streak to 4 games. Guys, am I dreaming? This team has a road win streak going?
On the road?
It's absolutely insane.
That doesn't happen. Like, that's not a thing.
No, it's not.
Also, starters, fully healthy, improved to 14-0 together. As I said, Sixers sit at first place in the Eastern Conference. So, George, what were your thoughts on last night's game? I got a few takeaways that I'll share with you guys as well. But just overall feel, because that had the feel of a game that, it was just a solid victory for this Sixers team, where no one really dominated early, and then the team as a collective whole stepped up.
Yeah, the team as a whole just went absolutely crazy, except for Danny Green, but that's whatever when you have Curry dropping 22 and everyone looking good. It was a great game, especially against the Kings. That's a game you want to win, even though it is on the West Coast. You're traveling to the West Coast. You got a 10 o'clock game. You're not used to that. To go out there and get a win, especially when Fox drops 34 on us, it's just great to see. And Simmons looked very good too. I mean, it seems like the Simmons haters have been a little quiet recently, which is great to hear.
They have been. Snap. Did you make it up for last night's game?
Yeah, I stayed up for it.
Well, what's a takeaway that you have from last night?
A takeaway from last night is that you started off the road trip really well, because I think they're on a 3-game road trip this week, correct?
Yeah, it's Portland tomorrow and then Phoenix,
which will be another test. But you started off good, and it looked like they were going to become the Sixers of old when they had a terrible third quarter late in that game. They bounced back. They won it in fourth quarter. I think they improved to they're leading 5 statistical categories for defense in the fourth quarter right now. One of them is opponent field goals, defensive net rating. So they look really good in the fourth quarter. And the Kings are no laughing matter right now. They were on a little 4-game win streak themselves. They've been playing good ball, and something that killed us in the past is guards that can really play well. And last night, those guards were shooting well. Marvin Bagley started turning it on, and they stayed composed, and they got to it. Joel Embiid gave us a little scare, so yeah, that's always fun. But
that man was caught in his lower body, upper body.
He needs to stop dunking so hard. Stop with the super crazy dunks landing on one leg. You saw his knee buckle. Yeah, that's like an MCL waiting to happen, and this team cannot afford it. But yeah, this team looks absolutely great right now. They're still rolling. The starters are still playing out of their mind. Seth Curry finally had a really good game last night because it seemed like he had kind of been on a cold streak. Oh, all in all, it was a great game to watch. I'm glad I stayed up for it.
So the Seth thing's a good point because he dropped 22, but they got him in a rhythm early. They got him his shots early. He started knocking them down, and then they didn't go away from him. So that's one thing. I got a few takeaways I'll throw at you guys, and then we'll bounce around and roundtable it. One is me and Gint talk a lot about how great teams can flip a switch. And you haven't seen that with the Sixers team in the past. And it was another example of it last night where, as you said, Snap, the Kings aren't world beaters. We don't consider them a contender, but they got some guys. They got De'Aaron Fox. Tyrese Halliburton came off the bench and tore us up. Like you said, Bagley hit a three. Buddy Hield was hitting a couple threes in the first half. And they flipped that switch defensively, and especially in the fourth quarter. You said they're tops in the league in 5 defensive statistical categories in the fourth quarter: defensive rating, net rating, opponent 3-point percentage, opponent field goal percentage, so on and so forth. Snap's dying over there. So they flipped that switch last night on the defensive end because you gave up 71 points in the first half to Sacramento, and you hold them to 40 total in the second half. You outscored them by 12, 32-20 in the fourth quarter, as you said, Snap. They dominated that fourth quarter. That's where the win came from. But it started on the defensive end of the floor in the second half, and that's what I love to see because my second takeaway is that was just a solid good win. Not only do you start the road stand out on a good note, but the Kings, when a lesser team throws their A game at you and they shoot over 53% from 3 in the first half and Fox is having his way and everything, and Joel Embiid starting out slow, Tobias Harris starting out slow, and you find a way to win, that's a great win. And that leads me to, guys, do you realize Joel Embiid played his worst game of the season last night? And he finished with 25, 17, and 6.
17 boards.
2 steals and 2 blocks.
Yeah, like, do we understand?
And a bucket late to put them up 7 instead of 5.
Oh, your 7-foot center closer with 1 minute and 10 seconds left, up 5, swings through from the free throw line and puts up a fadeaway with such touch that it falls and puts you up 7 to basically ice the game. That ridiculous. I don't understand if people realize what we're witnessing. His worst game through 25. Now, he hasn't played all 25 games, but his worst game of the year is 25, 17, a season high 6 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. While he had to go back down the tunnel to tape up his knee and go on the bench to tape up his elbow throughout the course of the game. And then it brings me to his running mate, who I allude to a lot on this show, Tobias Harris. It's not like Joel Embiid wasn't carrying the load early and Tobias Harris stepped up and took over the show. Tobias Harris gave you a quiet, clutch fourth quarter, and he dropped 22 and 10. It's not like Tobias was going off from the tip. Tobias came up clutch in the fourth quarter. He's making quick decisions, getting to his spot off the dribble, and he's tall enough. He's like 6'8", 6'9". He's tall enough to raise up over guards and smaller forwards to get his shot from the mid-range, and he's knocking them down. So overall, it was just a great team W to start a homestand against a team that threw their A game at you, and your MVP candidate and all-stars didn't go off in throughout the first 3 quarters. It was really a fourth quarter effort from this Sixers team. No, what am I missing? What's going on?
David Montgomery tweeted, playing in Chicago has been fun and I met some great people along the way. And he actually just deleted the tweet. So
Ian Rappaport had quoted it.
Do you know something we don't know?
No, Ian Rappaport quoted it. I don't know if it's still there. He said, David Montgomery is happy to be playing in Chicago because he is staying in Chicago.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe it was a false alarm. This is exactly what Ian Rappaport said. Rappaport said, I believe the Bears running back is just happy to be playing in Chicago, ... because he didn't get traded.
Okay. Yeah. But Twitter was going pretty crazy when
because that would have hinted at a Carson deal.
Yeah. Unless it's the other running back for Chicago.
No. Yeah.
Which
who cares?
I don't give less of a shit about. But anyway, I'll get to the shitty team in the city later on.
Let's go to the
just thoughts on what I just went am I overreacting to that win, or how important was it? Because it showed me something.
Not at all. And especially when you have guys off the bench that are shooting good too. Korkmaz came in and did good. Jake came in and did decent. That compared with us being a top 3 defensive team in all of basketball, maybe even top 1 or 2, is a recipe for success all the time. And going on the West Coast isn't like a small thing to do. Like going on the West Coast playing at 10 o'clock, not used to it, going out there and playing like that in the second half, it shows a lot about this team. Like we looked great on all cylinders last night. And I feel like it's just consistent with the defense. Like we haven't had defense like this. We thought last year was going to be this. Like we thought we were going to be the best defensive team in basketball. We were so big, Al, all that. And this year is just like completely different. We're incredible defensively, and that's good to see.
Dude, I'm reading the comments, and people, for whatever reason, are hinting at Eagles talk. So I don't know what to do over here.
Well,
do whatever you want.
Let me get my spiel.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, this team is very much different. Like George is saying, this team is different because they don't collapse in the third quarter. They can go on the road and face a good team who's hot and beat them and not just succumb to them, even though that their guards are putting up multiple threes in the first half. This team is well-rounded, well-versed. They adapt mid-game, which is the biggest.
Holy shit.
I think is the biggest adjustment this team has made this year. The fact that they can do things like switch from a man-to-man to a 2-3 zone and hit the switch and pick it up for one another, play great defense, and just, guys are stepping up as well. You got Furkan Korkmaz, and as much as I hate to say it, I hope Nadir's here, Furkan Korkmaz has been playing great basketball. Great basketball. He's been creating points off the bench when Shake Milton and Tyrese Maxey can't, and you love to see it. So all in all, I think this Sixers team is very serious. I think Joel Embiid is the MVP for everyone talking about it. And I just see a deep run. This team looks like it's built for the playoffs.
And I think the best part about this is the Nets looking bad. The Nets
it helps because if the Nets were playing just as good as us, a lot of people would still be coming for Daryl Morey's head.
George, you haven't heard?
Oh, let's hear it.
They're up against it, dude. You didn't hear what Kyrie had to say? They got to overcome a lot of shit.
COVID. Oh my God.
So let me address this because I just addressed it on the Daily Dose.
Shut your mouth, Kyrie. Shut your mouth.
Let me address it on here. He said we have to overcome a player getting ripped off the bench mid-game due to COVID. Okay. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but it's the rumors out there in the media. KD's in COVID protocol right now because he violated COVID protocol. That's your teammate's fault, dumbass. So you're not overcoming. Maybe don't violate the league's protocol and you don't get ripped off the bench. B, he said we have to overcome we're the ones that have to overcome the refs. What in God's name are you talking about? Overcome the refs. You have James Harden, the dude who gets more calls than anyone in the freaking league. Kyrie, oh my God. We're getting spammed right here. So he just pisses me off. But back to the Sixers. Snap, you mentioned it. Hold on. I'll take care of this real quick.
Damn you, fly, Eagles, fly. Damn you.
Yeah, goodbye. Goodbye. And if this is a serious question, this is a Philadelphia sports podcast, but I don't know. We're new on Twitch. That's a Twitch comment.
We're on Twitch now?
Yeah, we are new to Twitch. The Painted Lines just added that account. So that's what we're on with Periscope on Twitter and YouTube right now.
Wait, say that again?
Periscope?
Periscope?
Yeah, how do you say it?
Periscope.
Periscope?
Periscope. That I
don't know.
Don't answer.
I can't.
Keep reading it. Don't answer.
I'm not. But anyway, Snap, you alluded to like everyone knowing their roles and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the coaching staff. That is the Doc Rivers effect. It's the Sam Cassell effect. So one thing, you are getting a follow. Thank you.
Oh, I thought that was going the other way. I appreciate that. That was like total troll bait. Like, that was troll bait. That was troll bait. And
what if it answered? What if it answered again and said not with the asterisk?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming.
But anyway, like Sam Cassell with Ben Simmons Ben Simmons over the last, I don't know how many games, has averaged like under 2 turnovers. Again, he had 2 turnovers last night. That's it. So that's been huge. But Doc, like Matisse Thybulle had 0 points last night. but he played a huge role on the defensive end in the fourth quarter. And Ben Simmons made a comment how he loves playing with Matisse on defense late in the game, and he gives him a nod and says, all right, time to lock up. And that all comes down to Doc Rivers.
Shit.
That all comes down to Doc Rivers defining roles. Like, if you go back to Brett Brown, Glenn Robinson III came here last year and literally spoke, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know my role. On JJ Redick's podcast, Jimmy Butler discussed how, look, he didn't know who was in charge, who was doing what. He didn't know anything, right? Well, now you have guys knowing their roles. Matisse knows his role. Furkan knows his role, everything like that. Toby. And then you have, like, Seth Curry's a perfect example of last night. Seth Curry gives you 22 points last night, right? He's on fire to start the game. How many shots did he get down the stretch? Not a lot. And do you think that Seth wants the ball in his hands when he's shooting like that? Probably, but he knows the role that he has to play on this team. He was subbed out for a majority of the fourth quarter because Matisse and Shake played over him and Danny. So that's the most beautiful thing of it all is, role acknowledgement and the fact that it sounds cliche and corny, but if you can get everyone to buy in like Doc is right now, that's what you always hear on a championship team, is it not? Everyone bought into the system. Like, you hear it every single time a new team wins a championship. That's what's happening right now. So it's amazing to see. And one other thing that I'll throw to you guys through, like, evaluating through the first 25, we know that they're in first place. We know they're 14-0 at the Stars and everything like that. But the fact that how many times did the three of us in Gint come on the show and have to discuss, this team's going to go through growing pains with a new coaching staff and a new system and new role players and everything like that.
Short off season.
Dude, they're undefeated. They haven't gone through, they've gelled so perfectly together so far. And I think that has to do with a lot. I think it has to do with Doc and the coaching staff. But I think Dwight Howard plays a huge role in that. Huge. I think Danny Green plays a huge role in that. Those two veterans coming over here. Joel and Ben said, they just seem closer. Tobias seems closer with them. It's little things. Maybe I'm probably reading too much into it. But the fact that after every single game, the three of them are pushing for the other ones to get into the All-Star game, or for Joel to be the MVP. Joel's on Twitter defending Ben to people. Like, they're closer, and it's showing on the floor what the off the floor chemistry is like.
I don't want to say like culture switch, but like it was a culture switch. It really was. Like getting Doc in here, getting Brett out, and then adding guys like Dwight Howard, who apparently has like so much heart and is just an amazing guy off the court, especially for young players, guys like that. Like, this team just meshes amazingly. They got the perfect gel of guys, young guys, all-stars, guys like Dwight Howard, everything from the front office to the coaching staff to the players. It's just like a total switch from last season. It really is.
I completely agree. From the minute I saw Dwight and Ben working out after games shooting threes, and then it expanded into the rookies getting involved with Dwight, I knew Dwight was a great player. I remember there was a clip of him talking shit to Nikola Vucevic or Vucevic off the bench. Like,
Vucevic literally had to turn to the ref.
Leave me alone, dude. Leave me alone. Like, everything about the team, especially in recent weeks with them, defending each other on Twitter, hyping each other up for all-star votes. Like, being more social, it seems like, as a collective unit on and off the court. It's huge because people want to say, yeah, this is a business. But at the end of the day, anyone that's been on a winning team, no matter what level it's at, I don't care if it's AAU, high school, any level with any sport, if you're not meshing with the guys you play with every day on and off the court, you're not going to win anything. You need to have a camaraderie behind, or a common camaraderie that you can all get behind and go for. And it starts with leadership, like you guys are saying. Doc Rivers coming in, a coaching staff that arguably has probably 4 head coaches on it, if we're being honest. Guys stepping up and finally filling that leadership role, like Ben on defense and Joel Embiid on offense down the stretch. Tobias coming back into his own. Guys knowing their role. Everything that you see right now, it's exactly what you say. This is like the beginning of a championship caliber team. And it helps because your core guys are finally actually, what is this, almost 2.5 years that our big three has been together? Like, people need to
Yeah.
remember, like, back in the day when they built championship winning teams from homegrown talent, these guys played with each other for years before they really got to the top of the mountain. Having that constant chemistry and bonding through the years and learning how to play with one another. Like, I think Ben said it the other day, or Joel said it the other day, like, we're finally starting to know where our spots are and stuff. Like, you just love to hear it. And only team right now I can see beating us in a 7-game series is the Lakers.
And you just competed and beat the Lakers. So you have you're at least, I'm not saying they're going to beat the Lakers in a 7-game series, but you know that you can compete. No, I said they beat the Lakers once. So you know that you can compete and run with the Lakers. And at the end of the day, that's all I need. So to wrap up the evaluation part, I just said it with Gint. I think I'm not worried about the West. Like you said, that you brought the Lakers out. The West, I don't got to worry about till we get there. And if we can get there, you're good enough to win it all. You have a chance to win it all. I got to worry about the East. Do I think the Sixers are good enough to win the East as currently constructed? I do. You're 25 games in no more. There's no longer that, they're off to a hot start, but you're 25 games in. You have 7 losses.
What undefeated with starters
with COVID issues contributing to those.
What
losses.
this comes down to, bottom line, since we're about a third of the way through the season, is we're coming up on the All-Star break, which is usually like, all right, let's see how you are down the stretch. Guys' incentives kick in. Players that all magically start playing better. And not only that, you have the trade deadline coming up, and you also have the buyout market coming up. That's where these championship teams are going to solidify their run. We've seen it before in the past with the Sixers. What was it, the 2017 season when we went on the 16-game win streak? Yeah, and then, you signed Ersan and Marco Bellinelli, and you got to worry about who other championship caliber teams are. Like right now, we know the Nets have a terrible defense. There's some names that you could go after in the buyout market, and if they're successful and they get some depth, the team could be a completely different team coming out of the buyout market. Even the trade deadline, there are stars that can probably be pried away right now. I know it's like unfathomable. It's kind of hard to think of, but Bradley Beal could go to Miami, or Zach LaVine could go somewhere else. Like, there are stars that could be moved still, even though we're kind of on this ship now where we're not worried about getting that guy in here. We don't need to, but those are
propel another team
look for. Yeah. So this team as of right now is destined to make a finals run, in my opinion, but everything can change. Because speaking of the trade deadline and the buyout market, one thing that can happen is you don't want to make a move that'll destroy chemistry. Yeah, we've seen it with the 2014 Pacers when they moved Danny Granger at the trade deadline to try to bring in some guys. That team fell apart from losing a key veteran. So Sixers have a lot of big decisions coming up, especially in the buyout market and in the trade deadline.
So let me ask you this. That's a great point. And me and Gint were just talking about that. Brian Jacobs, one of our leaders here at TPL, he is full board conductor of the Kyle Lowry train. Mm-hmm. He wants Kyle Lowry in Philly. Okay. Report comes out today that Kyle Lowry's house in Toronto is up for sale. What does that mean? Could he be moving somewhere else in Toronto? Yeah. So who the hell knows what it's about? And there's no real traction behind it other than us wanting him here maybe. Is that something you're interested in? Because, Snap, I'm with you. Like, I don't want to fix what's not broken.
Kyle Lowry's contract's pretty big, I believe.
Is it?
But I'm pretty sure it's a bigger deal. It's not in the supermax range, but it would take a starter moving like Danny Green. And I know people are willing to trade Danny Green, but there's a reason the starters are 5-0. Like, let's be honest.
14-0.
Yeah,
Kyle Lowry. This is last year of his deal. He's getting paid $30 million.
Yeah, exactly. Those are some pieces that need to move. So, are you willing to dive into the depth to make that, or into the?
No, I'm not.
Make this move? I'm not either. So, my whole opinion is, if you really want Kyle Lowry that bad, how about you let this team run its course, and then in free agency, you offer him an older players type of deal, like, yo, come home, play the rest of your career out here. Clearly, Toronto's not in the runnings anymore. They got a new. Fred VanVleet's going to take the reins. Pascal Siakam, Boucher, they're all going to do their thing. Come back to home to Philly, play out the last couple days of your career, like some Tony Parker shit when he went to Charlotte, like do something like that. I'm talking, the main thing I want this team to do is possibly get a power forward in the buyout market.
Yeah, me too.
I'm talking about trading a protected first-round pick for PJ Tucker to come off the bench. That's the type of move I want. I don't need a drastic move like that. You're going to bring in a guy that's worth $30 million. or around that ballpark, go try to get Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm not really convinced I would want to make that move with the chemistry this team has.
I don't either, and it's just an interesting thought. But like, what I will say is I agree with you, and I think Daryl Morey sees this as an opportunity to win a ring. And I'm not saying we're not good enough to win it all right now, but like you said, a backup 4 that could give you viable minutes, maybe a 3-and-D guy that can guard one of those wings from Brooklyn, like a Taurean Prince or someone like that in the buyout market. I don't think Daryl Morey stays pat. I don't think this rotation as is what you see. I'm not saying we give up anyone, but I'm saying I think he makes a move or two where a rotational piece or two comes in, and maybe like, oh man, I'm trying to think like in the playoffs. I don't want to be that hater. Nadir, if he's watching, is going to rip me. But Furkan, like if you bring in a Taurean Prince, Furkan's not going to really play, so he'd be a guy out, right? I'm just thinking of it that way.
There's also a lot of guys on this bench that aren't getting minutes that could maybe be pushed to the G League right now. You know what I mean? You could push an Isaiah Joe to the G League, Paul Reed to the G League. You know, there's vets like Terrence Ferguson. You could cut him, like waive him, like. If especially you need a roster spot for a good vet that can play like solid minutes, they get it done. And there's a lot of teams out there that are going to part ways with some of their vets to go let them win a ring. You never know exactly who, but there's always a few that can make or break your team moving down the stretch.
Let me ask you one. Do you want him to come home?
Who?
If he costs you next to nothing, like a second rounder or Mike Scott?
Who?
JJ.
Yeah, I would take JJ. I think it'd be idiotic for you not to want JJ. JJ shoots the lights out the gym. To add another shooter coming off the bench it just seems like.
Now I know he's not this year. I know he's like under 30% this year, but he hasn't played a lot. Yeah, he hasn't played a lot. He's now like a DNP every night in New Orleans. So
they're waiting to trade him or buy him out.
So I agree completely. If you can bring him off the bench in 15 or less minutes a game, and he knocks down a couple threes when you already have Seth Curry and Danny Green and Furkan Korkmaz, like the spacing around Joel Ben and Tobias would be ridiculous with your rotation pieces. In
my opinion, the only thing I don't want JJ for is I don't really want another 3 and no D guy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I don't think but at the same time, JJ Redick had his best years under playing next to Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
And I feel like JJ could he's quick enough to stay with Joe Harris in a series against Brooklyn or TLC or something like that. Maybe like none of those guys are going to cook JJ. Now, if you the reason I named Furkan out of the rotation is because like, okay, who the hell did you watch? Look, he was really good offensively in the first half last night. Did you watch him try to guard De'Aaron Fox a couple times?
Yeah, he can't.
Bro, he got turned. He was running the wrong way. He got turned around so bad.
Furkan's kind of becoming like a Marco Bellinelli type.
Yeah, he's going to have to come in.
He can get some points.
Yeah, he's going to have to come in the postseason, hit a few threes. If he's not,
get him out.
Yeah, see ya. We'll figure it out. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. George, me and Snap answered. I think they're good enough to win the East as is. I think Daryl Morey makes a move at the buyout or two. What's your opinions through 25 games?
No doubt we are good enough to win the East right now. And if you don't think so, you're just either biased or he's not watching. Like at this point in the season, you're 18-7, 14-0 with starters. You're top 3 defensively in the NBA. I don't see how you can say this team isn't good enough to win the East. They're definitely going to make a move. I feel like it's inevitable. There's no way they go out of the buyout period with nobody else like added onto the roster or no moves made. I think Snap, I'm with you on the PJ Tucker move. I think that'll be awesome. Kyle Lowry, I'm not looking at like a big guy like that. I don't think we need a big guy like that. And you never know what's going to do to the team. I'd rather get somebody that's going to come off the bench, that's going to help us, maybe a power forward. But like as of right now, I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that this team is good enough to win the East. I mean, just look at all around how we play. Like it's been nothing but consistency all year. And when Embiid's playing like this, just consistent every game, when he has his worst game ever or his worst game in the season and he's 25, 17, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
And a season high in assist.
Yeah, that speaks volume. So
by the way, one point we didn't throw out there. Anyone recall that double team one-handed rocket to the other corner to Tobias Harris for a 3 late in the game last night?
Dude,
that he kicked out in?
Stepped into that.
Oh my God, dude. There's no stop. Joel's progression. So I said it last time on here. His mid-range game is becoming like automatic now, but there's so much more to his game that is like not so obvious to the eye. Like his passing out of a double and triple team is amazing. His court vision's gotten better, but he also keeps his dribble alive really well. If you know what I'm saying. Yeah. He can dribble. He dribbles. You ever see when they bring the double team over and he dribbles out to the top of the key to get away from it and then makes the right pass? He keeps his dribble alive, doesn't pick it up too early. Small things in his game are getting better. And the last thing I'll say is he just look, he had the interview after the one win at home about his son. And I don't know, if it actually plays that much a role, if it's like, you know what I mean? But the maturity level in him is now finally where I think he knows what he needs to do to be great. Yeah. Like before, I think he just 7-foot center, all the skill set, and I'm good enough, right? I think he's mature enough. He's 27 now, 26. 26. I think he's realized how great he can be with this skill set.
I know everyone already compares him to him, but it's like Hakeem. Like if you've ever watched that documentary about Hakeem Olajuwon, they said he didn't really mature until he got in touch with Islam, his religion from his home, and until he became more religious and mature from his religion, he didn't become the championship caliber center he knew he could be by himself without Ralph Sampson. So I like how Joel is maturing. You can almost make a same type of comparison. Clearly not yet because he hasn't won anything, but it's like that type of maturity. It's like, all right, I have a kid at home. Like I miss him. Like I want to show him I'm a winner, there's a role model aspect to it now.
That's what he said. What he said, I got to set the bar high.
His first game interview was like, I want my son to be proud of me. That I got to set the bar high, blah, blah. Show him how to, be a winner. Yeah,
man. So it's been a shit ton of fun, and I think it's only going to get better, especially with the schedule getting more difficult. Mm-hmm. By the way, we're 25 games in. What do we got? 16 more, and they still haven't released the second half of the schedule yet because the NBA's only done half and half. Which I wish the NHL would have done a better job with because they're getting killed right now, and the Flyers are dealing with it. So, side note, Flyers game last night canceled against the Capitals because Giroux, Braun, and who's the third? Sanheim have COVID, and then their matchup with New Jersey this weekend was canceled because New Jersey has 19 players on the damn list. So I don't know. The NHL has to go through that. Flyers have to go through that. But they had a big win on my birthday. Scott Lawton with the Hattie. I don't think I can hate him anymore. I don't think I can trash him anymore after that.
Yeah,
they're one defenseman away from being legit, in my opinion.
Yeah. And they're still 8-3-2. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
I just want them to be at that.
Last year was. Yeah, I want them to be like that last year, winning games and looking good doing it.
Yeah, they're giving up way too many goals as the season goes on.
Dude, they're so sloppy in their own zone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You need someone to clean the shit up,
But that's a veteran player too. That's what it's going to take.
Get a veteran defenseman.
Yeah.
Niskanen back, baby.
Yeah, right.
Who?
Niskanen. That ain't going to happen. But yeah, so the Flyers are 8-3-2. I think are they still second in the East going through all this or no?
Maybe. I haven't checked the standings yesterday.
All right, guys. So we're over 34 minutes in. Let's move on to the more negative topic of our Phillies.
I know you're so sad to talk about this,
dude. I'm lifeless, dude. They have sucked the life out of me.
I'm not trying to laugh at your pain, but that was just such a great response.
Not to be corny, but do you see this? I want to get it erased.
Tat it on me.
I'm going to get it covered up because they pissed me off. It is the single largest organizational failure I've ever witnessed. And I mean, dude, the investment you put in to go draft Carson Wentz in 2016, you did that. You paid him and named him the franchise guy. You drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. You refused to give him any weapons and help. And now you're about to take the single largest dead cap hit in NFL history by over $12 million. and it's inevitable at this point. And look, does Carson Wentz want to be here anymore? He hasn't spoken.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be here anymore. So now they have to move him. My point is, I can still be pissed off at the organization behind me on my wall because they forced him to not want to. Why the hell would he want to be here? Why?
I said this earlier in the season that they were forcing him out. From the minute they drafted Jalen Hurts, they had been forcing him out for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is. I don't.
So
you
now
get rid of Doug Peterson. The main reason behind the main conflict of this offseason was it's either Carson or Doug, and you fire Doug, and you try to act like it wasn't over Carson. Next thing you know, Carson still wants to leave. So clearly you wronged him in such a way that he just wants out.
One person did. Did you see the rumor reported by 97.5?
Yeah.
No.
Carson's on good terms with Jeffrey Lurie and Nick Sirianni.
With Howie.
But he will not answer Howie Roseman's phone calls. How the hell does he still have it? How many times did I come on this show or when I went on Party on Broad with other guys at TPL and we played the blame game in week 8, 9, 10, 11? Howie, Doug, Jim Schwartz, Carson Wentz. 1 through 4 in the order. Who's to blame the most for how this season's going? Howie Roseman is the only person left in this organization. And the problems don't go away until he goes away. Look, Jamie Lynch came on TPL Live the other day with Dibes, and he asked about the pick at number 6. And he had a great quote, and it was like, picking at 6, it's like it's dummy proof for Howie to really mess up. It almost is dummy proof.
It is.
Unless they keep Hurts and draft another quarterback, and then you have whatever. That's how you screw that up. But it's almost dummy proof, right? But now here's the best part. Okay, they might get a number 1 a first round draft pick for Carson Wentz. They want 2. Who knows if they whatever happens, right? Okay. If they get the Colts or Bears first round pick, that's 20 and 21. You trust Howie Roseman picking at 20 or 21?
Hell no. Hell no.
I don't. So what is everyone?
Let's be honest here. If you trade Howie or if you fire Howie Roseman, you won't end up with the 20 or 21st pick. Because you won't get rid of Wentz.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I'm telling you now, he's got pictures of Jeffrey. He's got pictures somewhere in a safe, in a vault. Jeffrey, the second you let me go, someone's opening that vault and those pictures are going viral. Because there is no way he still has a freaking job, dude. There's no chance. Look, people in this fan base, I'm not one of them, but people want Carson Wentz out, right? Why is that? Because he played piss poorly this season, right? So it's like any other job. I'm not saying in this case they're right, but you don't perform well at your job, you don't have a job. Okay, let's just take it in this stance. Carson didn't perform well, people want him out. Doug didn't perform well, he's gone. Jim Schwartz didn't perform well, he left, but we all know what that was. Howie Roseman doesn't perform well.
You're good.
And he's fine. Dude, he's drafted 1 Pro Bowler since like 2014 or 2013, and that is Carson Wentz.
It's sickening.
What did Rob Motti come on the show and tell us, guys? It's not hard to draft a Pro Bowler. Like it's pretty easy to make a Pro Bowl in the NFL. It's not. I know, like it sounds good. You made a Pro Bowl.
If you have a first round pick, you should be getting 1 Pro Bowler, at least one appearance.
Like Carson Wentz is the only one in 6-7 years that he's drafted. Dude, that is mind-boggling. And I'm supposed to be happy that we're at least getting a first rounder for Carson. What the hell do I have to be happy for? But what do I know? Howie will step in shit this year, and the pick will work out, and the 6th overall pick will be Jamar Chase or whatever, and it'll be.
I'll be happy about that.
And we'll bring Nick Foles back. It'll be.
Awesome. Listen to me. Listen, look at me right now.
That's what they have to do.
No, look at me. Look at me.
Look at me.
I got a question. Jalen Hurts wins that quarterback battle, right?
Okay, no doubt. It's not a battle. It's not going to be. It's not going to be.
Oh, it's going to be for the public.
It's
people that aren't at NovaCare Center. That will be a battle.
And that's why you
listen,
Super Bowl. Listen to me right now.
Nick Foles is not good.
Listen to me.
He's not good.
It's not even for the fact that he's not good anymore and that he caught lightning in a bottle. This is not a jab at him. I am forever grateful for what Nick Foles did. Okay. I will not. I don't want to already, but I know I will. But if they go that route and it's Nick Foles, the first round, and Cohen, or anything like that, and he comes back here, I will not root for them next year. I'm not going through that again. I'm not dealing with the fan base. The fact that 3 years after winning a Super Bowl, Doug Peterson is no longer here, and I didn't want him here anymore. You guys know that, but he still was the head coach of that team. He's not here. Carson Wentz is out, and we brought back Nick Foles after he lost his job to Gardner Minshew and Mitchell Trubisky. I will not root for them next year. I swear to God.
Dude, when that rumor came out, I just laughed. I was like, there's no way this is true, right? This
you can't do that, bro. It's not even a smart thing to do.
It makes no sense. B,
do you have any idea what you're going to do to Jalen Hurts? Because the second Jalen Hurts throws an interception or loses a bad game, you know what that fan base is going to be saying? You absolutely know it. And here's what I want to say about Jalen Hurts. Look, man, he's going to be the guy. You know who I wanted? Whatever, he's going to be the guy. I'm going to support him. I want to support this team, right? If they don't make that move. But everyone wants to talk about Carson Wentz is mentally weak. To be too weak to be an NFL quarterback. Jalen, I've seen tweets. I'm not kidding you, and I've listened to callers on Philly Sport Talk Radio say that Jalen Hurts has something Carson doesn't. He's got the mental strength to be the quarterback in this city. How the hell do you know that? He's played in 4 games in which he was on the opposite end of the situation. He was the backup coming in to play free football. And again, I said this to Gint yesterday or 2 days ago. Jalen Hurts got benched at halftime in the national championship game.
Yep.
And then transferred schools the next season.
Yep.
Now, I'm not calling him mentally weak for that. My point is Carson Wentz would be called mentally weak for something like that. So you cannot sit here and say one dude was mentally strong by leaving his situation, but this dude isn't. I'm so over it. Snap, how are you feeling?
At this point, I just feel, one, my heart just goes out to Wentz mainly because even if he wanted to stay, even if they fired Howie Roseman tomorrow, brought in a new GM, got everything back right that they could do possibly, I still don't think Wentz stays because of the main fact that the fan base is turned on him completely. And if you bring in a guy like Fultz, it's going to be the same cycle over again because you know the second Hurts throws an interception, it's going to be start Big Dick Nick. Like it's like fucking 2017 again or 2018, whatever the fuck, ancient history.
Both years.
It's just mind-boggling. And at this point, I'm kind of like with you. Like I'm just one more ridiculous move away from just I have a Lamar Jackson jersey. I'll just say I've had it since he got drafted. Yeah. I bought it a year ago. I'll say I knew he was the next big. Well, I didn't know he was going to be great, but I'll say he was the next big thing, and I'm a Ravens fan now. Fuck him.
I'll take a year off from Eagles fandom until Howie.
What the biggest thing that the biggest way to change the Eagles, honestly, is if every fan just stops supporting the franchise. But it's impossible.
Yep,
it's impossible.
It's a sickness. And I will. Now, I brought up.
I'm not.
Yeah.
If they do something ridiculous, I won't watch them.
Yeah.
I will not support them. I will not buy anything next year. I won't. I don't give a fuck how Jamar Chase could go for 1,200 yards next year if he gets drafted here. I won't buy his jersey. I won't do anything.
I agree.
I promise.
I agree. And here's the thing. You brought up feeling for Carson and whatever. And look, maybe we don't know Carson personally. So maybe some of the rumors are true.
Yeah, maybe they're not. Dick, but I'd be a dick too.
Right. So, but let me say this to you. Dude, this city, I have a t-shirt that people in the city made called with the name Wentzylvania on it. The state was named, nicknamed after him a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
He was the greatest thing to happen to this city.
He was
and one bad season.
Brett Favre.
95% of the fan base turned their backs.
Literally one bad season. One.
Because they have no recollection of anything else, dude. They're blinded by I don't know what it is.
Recency bias.
But I've run through it over and over again. The numbers. I don't have to. One bad season, and you're giving up on them. Now, was it a bad season? Oh hell yeah! There were some moments where I was scratching my head. What that Dallas play when he watched the defender stare and got sacked and fumbled. Look, don't get me wrong, dude. He was broken, but the entire franchise was broken. You're seeing the outcome of that, the fallout from a broken franchise right now. It's not just him. And the fact that Howie still has a job solves nothing. So I'm not answering anything. There was a comment earlier. What do you guys think we could get from Wentz? I don't give a shit if he's the one making the draft pick. Because I'm supposed to all of a sudden, because Carson Wentz is gone, Howie Roseman's going to draft a Pro Bowler now. Yeah, he could fall into 1 and 6. That's easy to do. Outside of that, 2021, second, if he gets 2 seconds, he's going to draft 2 more quarterbacks? A linebacker that's played football for half a season? I hate it, dude.
I hate it.
I hate it. Like, especially at this point, just like, it's just every day going through the rumor mill. Like, people, even on Twitter, are like loving that Foles might come back. Why the fuck would we want Nick Foles back in 2021? What in what world does that make sense? Like, people are saying like we got to move on from the Super Bowl, blah blah blah. If you want Nick Foles back, you got to move on. This man got paid, he got benched by Gardner Minshew. He went to Chicago. He was the backup for Mitch Trubisky. Then got the job, then lost the job again. And if you think that he's going to come to Philly with a beaten up O-line and
wait, come to Philly without Doug Peterson.
It's going to be
without the RPO and all that shit.
Bad. It's not going to be. It's going to be bad. And he's going to be the backup anyway. Jalen would win that job with ease. Jalen wins that job with ease.
The only thing I'll say, and here's where I don't even know, because I had this idea that, if you move on from Carson, I would want Sirianni to pick his guy. So whether that is Jalen or not, or the top 6 pick, Sirianni should pick his guy. But here's the thing. I think Sirianni's a placeholder hire. I think he's here for the rebuild through 2-3 seasons, and I think he's canned. I think that's all it is, dude.
I do too.
And I'll wrap up the show by throwing this at you guys. The Philadelphia Phillies are closer to a world championship than the Philadelphia Eagles are.
Who are 3 years removed from a Super Bowl? Oh,
yes. The Phillies are closer to a ring than the Eagles are. Okay? And our TPL Discord chat was saying, can the Eagles win 7 games? As constructed, how the hell are we winning 7 games?
No. It's crazy. It's not even like the Phillies are closer. Everybody in Philly is closer.
Oh, yeah.
Every team in Philly is easily closer.
But the other worst team of the city.
Yes. The team that was just getting trashed, the owner, we wanted the owner to sell the team. They were in the basement of the 4 big teams in the city. They're now ahead of the team that won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. That's how far we've come from a Super Bowl victory and marching down Broad Street.
I fucking hate it here.
No, you guys have the memories pop up on your Snapchat.
Yep.
Yes.
They were incredible.
Talk about it. Don't even talk about it.
They were incredible, dude.
You know what? I'm done letting this team piss me off. Because the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win the Eastern Conference.
No doubt in my mind.
Here's the exciting part, boys. As long as, the NHL gets through a season, which I imagine they're going to, because every other sport has going through COVID issues, we are going to have Flyers playoffs, Sixers playoffs, and Phillies baseball going on at the same time.
Love to hear it.
Now that is exciting. For myself, for Snap, for George, have a nice night. Go Sixers.
See ya.